Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well this Sunday afternoon or evening, or heck, it might even be Monday morning wherever you're at. But anyway, thanks for joining us for the podcast. It's very much appreciated. And for the show today, we will be talking about a new tournament that is scheduled to be starting soon called Faction Wars. It's for Android. And I will also be going over the latest operation. It seems that there's some differing opinions on the operation overall, so we'll talk that out, as well as going over a minor weapons rebalance on the test server having to do with the new energy machine guns. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get things started, but to let y'all know that Islander did just message me and he is not going to be making it for the show today. He is celebrating Father's Day with his father, so that does remind me that, happy Father's Day to any fathers out there, or I'm sure most of y'all have a father, or hopefully you guys spend some time at least either thinking of them or talking with them, or maybe hanging out. But anyway, I do have Zox here with me. Some of you might remember him. He's been on the show once before, but he is also one of the people that is kind of helping to coordinate everything with the Faction Wars Android tournament. So he will be our resident expert as far as that goes, and I am glad to have him back. And as always, his YouTube channel link is in the pinned comment and in the video description here, so be sure you guys stop by over to his channel and show a little bit of love if you aren't subscribed over there already. But anyway, let me go ahead and pull him into the conversation and we will get some things going. Hey, what's up, Zox? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Chief? How are you? What's up, Stream?
I'm doing all right. And if the folks in the stream can just let me know if they can hear Zox all right. I did kind of screw around with some of my audio settings yesterday, and I hope I got them all back where they're supposed to be. But anyway, let me know in the chat if you guys have a hard time hearing them. But anyway, welcome back to the show, Zox. It's always good to have you back here. And some of the things that we're looking at discussing for the show today is first and foremost the new Faction Wars, which you are pretty much the expert on. You've been helping to coordinate that for the Android crowd, and it's very much appreciated. But we're also going to be talking a little bit about the latest operations and the weapons rebalance on the test server. I don't know if you've had a chance to get on the test server this weekend or not.
To be honest, I haven't tested it, but I saw some videos and I saw that these new weapons will be really good after that rebalance. As soon as I mean, as much as I could see. But have you tested it, Chief?
I did pop on for a little while. I didn't do any recording, as honestly, I didn't really feel it was enough content to really even fill a whole video. But definitely something that's at least worth talking about, because depending on how they actually end up, the final product coming over to the live server, it could actually cause a small shift in the meta. So we'll talk about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's just jump into one thing that I know you know a lot about, and that is the Faction Wars. Yeah, try and I'll pop it up on the screen there for you. So Faction Wars is an Android-only tournament, right?
Yeah, it's Android only. We tried also to bring some other tournaments in future, but for now it's not possible because. To be honest, maybe it's exclusively in your live stream, but I don't know if Sonic mentioned, but they mentioned that they will in future implement that as a part of the game.
Right.
Next year.
Right.
They will implement it as a part of the game, something like like Call of Duty have within the game.
Oh, to be able to like view games as they're going on live and stuff like
No,
that.
no, it will be you will be able to make a tournaments. They will be making tournaments, but it will be automatized in the game.
Oh, okay, okay. I get what you're saying. So they want to eventually
Yeah,
take the lead.
something like Call of Duty. They expect that they will implement it next year, as they said unofficially. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, a lot of things can change between now and then, and you know, honestly, I personally prefer player managed tournaments as long as they are supported. You know, kind of like this one is with getting some support from Pixonic as far as you know, giving the rewards and so on. So I think that's cool of them to do, but you know, having the community step up and kind of take charge and lead the way, I think is really a good way to do it, in my opinion.
No, it's really good. It's really good. I agree, bro.
All right, so I haven't actually taken the time to count the number of clans that initially signed up for this, and for anybody that is watching, just so there's no confusion, registration is closed. You can no longer register for this tournament. Okay, but there is a link, and I'm gonna have to go through and probably add that to the pinned comment. I did forget to do that, but there is a link to the Discord server where this tournament is pretty much being managed from. And that's really the only place that I'm aware of as far as the official management for this tournament specifically. But you are planning on covering some of it, right, Zox?
Yeah, we planned. Also, I think that you will be. We wanted to do it on 2 or 3 channels, something like my channel, Islander, and you, if you are interested, to post the tournament matches. I already made some playlist channels, so we can make the same ones. Make some I don't know, unified thumbnails and everything, so that people can easily recognize that it's faction wars tournament matches. I think it will be interesting. I will also see it because gods will be part of this tournament. I will probably allow some of them to stream directly on my channel some matches when they play.
Right on. Well, that sounds like it'd be kind of fun to watch some of the live shows if that were possible. I know it's not easy to do that, just because somebody has to actually be playing in the tournament in order to stream it, since we don't have a way of watching really while they're in a match.
It's not that good because they can see your moves and all that. You need to put some delay on the stream.
Right, but folks can still go to the Discord channel, and I'm sure that each match will be updated after the match to show the winners and the different brackets that go up, you know, as it progresses.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be posted, for example, on your channel, my channel, Islander's channel, because that's how we are promoting this stuff. That's the most important thing, to promote this tournament as much as we can, and also for some future endeavors like that. So we will get more support from Pixonic if we get more crowd, more people, more promotion. I'm sure that they will in future also allow us some more rewards, bigger rewards.
Right. Speaking of rewards, I do have that up on the screen right now, and basically somebody in the chat said that there was like 40 clans that had registered for this event, but the prizes are going to go to the top 4 clans. All of them, pretty much everybody that in the top 4 clans are going to win a scorpion, which I think is pretty sweet. And then gold will go to the top 3 clans, and that includes their substitute players, because obviously they can only have 6 people on the team actually playing, but they were allowed to register 10 players in case they needed to substitute. So that was some pretty pretty good thinking ahead, I guess, as far as making sure that they would be able to field enough players in case something happened with schedules. But
Yeah.
and that's one of those points where it's nice to have Pixonic kind of on board, supporting it,
Oh,
because
to be honest, it's really, really nice from them to be supporting this. But to be honest, also honestly saying, Chief, I think that the prize pool should be bigger because, in fact, this is a promotion of their game, bro. It's like somebody else promoting your product for free. So, and you are giving him in-game currency, which doesn't cost you anything. So, really, they could have maybe. I really don't take me wrong. I really thanks to them for supporting us and everything, and they are really good and everything regarding this tournament. But maybe they could have add platinum for the top three clans or top four clans, some platinum for the guys, because the platinum in this moment is the most valuable in this game and the hardest one to get.
right. And I would agree with that. I think it would be nice to at least give at least a participation, prize just for everybody that participates. Maybe a little bit of gold or something, and then for the top teams, give them something nice, kind of like a brand new robot, the Scorpion. It's going to be getting released soon. It's going to be brand new for everybody. So, I think that's a great prize to have. But like you said, maybe a little bit of platinum would be nice. But at the same time, I mean, this is the
I don't know if you saw that, but maybe I haven't shared it. I made initially when we've been speaking about some tournaments, when I've been speaking with some guys, I made one proposal to Pixonic, but in this moment they weren't that much interested. But one of the things in proposal was prizes for the tournaments. So my opinion was that every single player who enters this tournament should get some consolation prize. For example, like you said, some gold at least for their effort and everything, because all of them need to make some time to practice with their clans, to play the games, to be there for their clans. If they are main players, if they are substitute, doesn't matter. They are giving their time for this, so they should all get. That was at least my proposal, and also in that proposal, I told them that for top four prizes, because of that we got this Scorpion and everything, because iOS had similar tournament and they were supposed to get only gold. We've been speaking with the guys and they understood the importance of these tournaments. For people from Pixonic, they understand the importance of these tournaments, so we got for this tournament Scorpion prizes, and they were also implemented on iOS. But the only thing, like I said, would be really, really good from their side to give us also some platinum for at least for the top four clans, and for qualifiers who make into the second round or quarterfinals, half finals, give them at least some gold.
Right. And I would completely agree with that. But at the same time, I can kind of understand Pixonic saying, okay, well, this is something new. It's the first time that at least this group of organizers is putting together a tournament. They want to make sure that it's actually, going to come up and be done the right way, and it's a successful tournament. So before they invest too heavily into it, I guess. But if it does turn out well, that's definitely a little bit more bargaining room. You guys might have to go back to them and say, hey, we did this, it worked out great. Lots of motivation throughout the community. How about doing a tiered prize pool? If you make it to the second level, then you automatically get a certain prize. You make it to the third level, you get another prize. You know what I mean? I think that would be an excellent way.
My proposal basically in my head was for example, if I don't know, you are probably not watching that because we are from Europe, we watch soccer. And for example, in Champions League, that's the soccer league, in Europe, the best teams from all over Europe. Everyone who qualifies for the group round, he gets some prizes, he gets some money, and after that, every single team which qualifies for the later stages, every stage they get some prizes, like you said right now. No, but don't take me wrong. These guys from Pixonic, they've been really nice to us. Max, especially, really, he's a really cool guy, and he was really helpful to all of us. And of course, Toxla was there also for us, and he helped with these rewards and everything. I cannot say anything bad about them, really, because they are really nice guys, and they helped us a lot, and they supported us in these prizes and everything. But as you said, they also said that it's something what is just beginning. So in future, I expect it to get some bigger prize pools and everything. It's not only because of us, bro. We are trying to do something for this game. We are trying to promote this game because it's not only about the game. It's about friends that we make in this game. We all have our real lives, stuff in our lives, but this is a really nice hobby for all of us.
Right. And I definitely think once the merger finishes between the platforms, it's going to be a lot easier to coordinate these kind of tournaments, just because then you're not going to be limited to, only one platform. And I think it's also going to be bringing a whole new level of competition to the game, which I think is kind of what these tournaments is really focused on, is the competition aspect of the game. So I think overall it's a great idea to be doing these. And man, I hope that this one turns out well. I wish everybody luck that is involved with the tournament itself. I think there's 6 different factions, right?
Yes.
And
what?
Yeah.
What's also my idea regarding this? I wanted to propose that for future, for these sorts of tournaments. It could be really interesting if they can, for example, make 2 hangers, because people like to make tactics. So if you have two hangers, 2 different hangers, people can make more tactics. Speak about that. Some players, for example, 2 or 3 players from your team use one hanger X, 2 or 3 players use second hanger X. It could be a really interesting mixture and make some diversity in that gameplay. And also maybe some will say no. But if we have all the same level, it would be interesting if they introduce also Titans into that hanger X. But because if we are all in the same level, we are all using the same level hangers, but make 2 hanger X hangers with the different Titans, with the different robot setups. So we can bring some sorts of diversity in that, and in the same time we would be all equal.
Right. That's a good idea. I do think eventually we will see Titans come to Hangar X. I think you might be surprised to know there's a lot of players of this game that don't even know that Hangar X exists, and that it's frequently updated with various builds and robots. But for those in the audience, this tournament is being done with play using Hangar X, just so that everybody is on the same level playing field. And with Hangar X, there is no pilot, no module, or there is modules on them, but there is no pilots.
There are passive modules are there.
Right.
Passive modules are there, like you can see on your picture. You see that, for example, for Ravana with Storms, we have 2 thermonuclears and last stand. All the passive modules are maxed. So for the Leech, we have also 2 thermonuclears and last stand. Blitz got 2 heavy armors and last stand. Phantom got 2 heavy armors and last stand. And Nightingale have 2 heavy armors and last stand. but we are not having active modules because as organizers, some of the guys, I mean all of us, at the end said that it's better for this HangerX not to have active modules. That way players will be completely on equal grounds, because some of the players don't have power cells, maybe cannot invest into gold to buy power cells, and that way they will be in disadvantage. This way everybody is on the same level, equipment, no power cells, so everything is on equal grounds.
Right. Well, you know, one thing that would be great is, since Hangar X is not robots that people actually own, they're just there for you to kind of test out and play around with. It would be kind of nice if they didn't actually take your power cells when you used them in a Hangar X or in a custom battle like that, because
yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of having the practice type of a game mode there, so that you know, I mean,
but from the other side.
Go ahead.
Yes, Chief. I mean, from the other side, if they do that, if they implement everything in Hangar X, if they make you not spend your power cells, you would see a lot of people playing Hangar X. They would be playing live.
Well, I guess that's true too.
That would be the problem. I mean, about that.
Though I don't know that. I mean, Hangar X is fun, but you know, you do still have to have people to create a custom game with in order to really play with it. So I don't know. But
you know, Chief, one thing could be really interesting regarding these topics. For me, originally when I was thinking about this, it would be the best, for example, to have something like test server, and it is only open on certain days, and it would be only open for the players who are part of the tournament. But you give them access, for example, to all bots, all weapons, all titans, and they are all at the same level. So everybody can customize that hangar and use it with the different tactics. It could be a really interesting idea, bro. For example, like you have test server, install a separate app and use it just for the tournaments.
Well, I imagine they could probably put together a tournament server.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how they would be able to prevent people not from the tournament, you know, logging in and messing around, but I'm sure they could do something.
Like make you some account, and every player who's in the tournament, he gets separate account, and that's it.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I think stuff like that is definitely, you know, at least possibilities of some things we can see. You know, if Pixonic decides to really pick this tournament thing up and really kind of work with it, because as developers, I mean, obviously the sky is the limit, and they can do and create these things. But I do think we are probably a long way off from something like that. But it would definitely be cool to see it happen eventually. So for the folks in the chat there, I mean, have you guys been paying attention to? I know iOS just recently finished a tournament for iOS players. I honestly don't know who won. I know it's already over, but there was like several people that were posting matches from various YouTube channels, but I think the whole thing was set up by Mr. Bulgasari. I believe he's the one that set most of it up anyway and was coordinating everything. But I mean, did any of you take part in that, or did you guys watch it? Just wondering, curious, what your overall thoughts are in the chat as far as tournaments. Do you want to see more tournaments? Is this something that you're interested in? Okay, so they're saying that Rex Clan Rex won and Vox took second.
Rex. Yeah,
Right.
Vox versus Rex were the finals, and Rex won. To be honest, they proved that they are really, really good. So for everybody saying that S rank clans and top clans are only pay to win. To be honest, I have to disappoint you guys, because these clans are full of people who are playing all the time with their friends, and they are speaking about tactics, and they spend so much time on tactics of this game, so and time to play. They cannot be noobs. They need to have skill, because even in all these clans, I mean gods, for example, no one will ever say that you can have the best bots, but if you are not skilled, they will not invite you. It's normal.
Yeah, there's
So you
plenty
need to have skill to be
plenty of players out there with maxed out gear that don't really know how to use it. I see that.
There is many.
I see that a lot. But
No. I agree with you totally, Chief. But they are not in clans, for example, like Vox or Rex. Am I right? Because you see, they topped. They win. They won this tournament. Vox was the second. Rex was the first. So they are really still guys.
so it looks like some in the chat are saying that they at least watched a few of the matches, and some people are saying they would like to see more tournaments, but with non-Hanger X tournaments. I think non-Hanger X tournaments are, I think there's a specific crowd that could probably cater to, but like me personally, I wouldn't be too interested in watching it, just because there's so many other variables that then do go into that type of a tournament, you know, and it really discludes maybe some really skillful players that just haven't spent a lot and maxed out their stuff. So it's, I don't know, I think there's pros and cons, but there's definitely a good crowd that would probably, you know, enjoy watching a tournament where folks use their own hangers and robots. I think that would be all right. Just
to be honest,
like I said, not my personal choice. Go ahead, Zox.
Yeah. To be honest, Chief, it could be interesting to make diversity in these sorts of tournaments. Because it's hard for us, we don't have mechanisms to do something like that. But Islander was also saying some of the things, for example, organizing free-for-all tournament. That could be really interesting also. You know, I agree with the idea. I agree with the idea of Hanger X, that Hanger X is good to show everybody's skill. I agree with that. I really agree. But for example, some people would like to use their own hangers, and I understand that, because people invest a lot into this game. Many people who are watching the stream maybe don't know, but in all these top clans, believe me, Chief, average spending of these guys in last 2 years is, when we've been speaking about that, so I made some calculations. Average spending of all these players per player in the last 2 years in some something like 5 or 10 top clans is at least $20,000, which is crazy. It's a really, really good card.
Well, I can definitely see people going through that much. I mean, it costs a lot of money to stay at the forefront of the meta and keep shifting every couple of months when the meta changes. I mean, and that's fine, you know, for some folks, if they have the money, more power to them. I got no problem with people spending on the game. I do sometimes complain about sportsmanship that is sometimes centered around spenders, but it has nothing to do with the spending. And I do sometimes complain about, like, Pixonic, when they introduced Titans and made them super powerful, but really only made them available to spenders because of
That's a problem.
The cost.
That's a huge problem of this game.
You know, and when you have folks that spend and buy it, I'm cool with that. Go ahead, buy the latest, the greatest, max it out. I'm happy to, that they're happy in doing that. But something as game-changing as like a Titan, Pixonic sells it, and they know that it's broken. They know that, being able to drop it in 2 minutes, 3 minutes into a match is broken. Max, the head designer, specifically stated that it is not intended to be that way. They've already attempted to fix it once. The fix didn't work. And it's just kind of unsportsmanlike to know that it's not intended to be done like that, but then you still have folks that do it, and it's just a shame. Because I do agree with you. A lot of the folks in those top clans really do have a lot of skill, and they don't need it. They don't need to do that. They don't need to drop a Titan, 2 minutes in a match, maxed out, against a bunch of randoms, or when they're in a full squad going against randoms. There's no reason for them to, drop a Titan after they've already 5-capped the randoms and, they've already basically won. I mean, why are you going to drop your maxed out Ao Ming, at the 3-minute mark when you've already won the game? But anyway, Pixonic knows that those issues are broken, and hopefully they will at some point address those. But I really don't have a problem with people spending. It's not really about the pay to win versus the free to play, because I mean, I know plenty of free to play players with maxed out stuff that have a lot of skill too. So
yeah, I know many clans in Android, believe me, in past and still now, Chief. They concentrate on one robot, one weapon, and they max it. And they move to the other. They use ads. They constantly use ads for the speeding up. And believe me, there is so many people that I knew, and I still know them, that, for example, spend something like only premium and some pocket change deals on gold, and they have maxed out hangers. But the problem is, like you said, the biggest problem of this game, and I agree totally with you, are Titans. Titans would be a great addition to this game, but if you could make them affordable to everybody. I mean, why don't they maybe think about this? I'm sure that they are feeling that they are losing players all the time in this game to the other games like Call of Duty, I don't know, many other games. But the only thing that they are losing these guys, it's not because they don't have a good product, they don't have a good game. They have a good game, they have a great game, which is really unique. And regarding these graphical changes that they will introduce soon, it will be amazing game after that. But the only thing is that they need to change their business model. For example, when I speak with some guys from my clan and from the other clans, it's not a problem in Titans. The problem is how they introduced it. So, for example, if they can do something like this, make some sort of monthly subscription, for example. For the guys who don't want to spend some additional money, make some premium, I don't know, $15, $20. But when you pay that premium per month, you will have access to all the robots and weapons. If you, for example, make some quota of playing the game, like for example in Call of Duty, like when you are progressing stage by stage, you get some weapons. They could implement the same thing in here. And for the others, you also have in other games like Call of Duty, you can buy crates. You don't have to play. So make it so that people who have money but don't have time and still love this game, they can buy all that. But for the people who don't want to invest the money into game and who want to have fun in the game and want to be competitive, make them a chance to by playing the game, by only playing the game, and buying some cheap subscription to get access to all that stuff.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but realistically, they already do that. It's just the problem is that like new content is delayed by 2, 3, sometimes even 4 months before it actually makes it to the
No, that's
to the
what I'm
workshop.
saying. That's
So
what I'm saying.
I totally agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I also, I have to recognize the fact that every robot and weapon in the game does become available to somebody that is free to play and just grinds. Eventually, I think the problem is the delay.
Eventually, but I think delay, like you say, delay is a problem.
Yeah, it's the delay that's a problem, and still they haven't really addressed anything with the Titans as far as the Titans are going to be the only equipment, at least as of right now, that will not be made available through the workshop. So I think that's something that they're going to have to address at some point. Either putting another chest in the black market that has Titan gear, kind of like they have with the event chest now. Where they have a Titan chest and a regular chest, maybe add them into the super chest. And if grinders really, really, really want to put in the effort to grind out all the keys throughout the course of a month to have a crack at winning something for their Titans or a whole new Titan, at some point I think they're going to have to do something like that.
That's a great idea, Chief, that you said. For example, make it available for people who grind a lot. Make it weekly to open one of those chests. So if you grind throughout the whole week, and every week it resets again, that counter is resetting again. So if you keep grinding a lot, then the same thing.
Well, I do think that the whole battle rewards system and the black market is past due for an update or upgrade. And I know that they did say a while back in their dev stream that that was something that was, on their radar to be taken a look at. But I mean, honestly, who knows? I mean, with so much development stuff they've got going on right now, who knows when that's actually going to happen. But hopefully, we might see some changes like that come at some point. Anyway, I just wanted to go back here. Let's see, somebody was saying something. Where'd it go? Sorry, I'm trying to scroll back through the chat here. Oh, Rick Smith was saying that, or clarifying that for Faction Wars there was 50 clans and 500 total players that had signed up for it, which thanks for the clarification on that, Rick. And
Rick is one of the main guys of the organization.
And
he's really amazing.
Joseph Cook was saying, I just want to see the best players playing their best stuff to see who is the strongest in the game. I totally get that, but if you listen to some of the folks in those top clans, I don't think you'll want to watch the clan battles, because when they're running like 3 or 4 Ravanas, and the winner is whoever battles the longest at center after 8 minutes and actually finally gets the center beacon, it's pretty boring. In other words, when it's something like just Ravana's shifting.
This meta is really boring, to be honest.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too exciting to watch, to be honest. But I do understand what Joseph's saying.
There is one idea that we been doing, for example, in Time Drop before on Android. We, for example, implement some rules. So you can implement the rules in this tournament. 2 bots per hanger, 2 same bots per hanger. We did it for a while on Android. Believe me, in the Leech meta, we said, come on, everybody running 5 leeches. Okay, for time drops, when we are doing time drops, we will have 2 leeches per hanger max. That's it.
And that's great when there's clans that kind of lead by example and set impose that kind of sportsmanship rules upon themselves. That's awesome. But they're also still
because it was terrible.
They're still taking a bit of a gamble, because there's technically nothing stopping another clan from dropping 5 leeches against them and then being super bored. But you know, anyway, I would love to see more clans kind of doing that stuff. I think that the thing with the clan gameplay, right, the squad gameplay, I think people would enjoy it so much more if they diversified things and they actually, stuck to it and like did what you said, implemented their own self rules, saying, okay, no more than 2 of the same robot because otherwise it gets boring. And that would also, I think, motivate more clans that currently don't squad to start squatting. And then you would get more diversity in the people that you're facing instead of always seeing the same clans over and over and over. I don't know. Anyway, I can go on for hours about sportsmanship, and some folks would agree and some don't, but that's not really what we're talking about anyway.
It's hard, cheap to get into. I don't know. Everybody's right in that point. People say, okay, we want to be the best. We need to run all meta. Okay, we had those problems in past. Like I told you, we made a chat for time drops for the clans. So we agreed on some rules like 2 leech per hanger, and then we stumbled onto some. There was 1 or 2 clans that didn't want to do that way. So if you miss that time drop against the clans that want to do that, you end up playing against 5 leech hangers with 2 leech, so you are dead. In advance, you are dead. In that meta, it was like that. I think that Pixonic could do that thing, but of course, I don't believe that they will do something like that. But I hope maybe that they will think about to limit the same bots per hanger. That would be really good for the game.
I think it could be, but at the same time, I think they're just hesitant to, 1, limit the number of robots or weapons they're going to sell to prospective players, and 2, they also probably don't want to intervene too heavily as far as dictating, strategy for your gameplay. So, I mean, we kind of see that frequently when they're, in free-for-all. They're real hesitant to say, it's against the terms of service of the game, and if you make an agreement by shaking your head with somebody else in free-for-all and you team up, so I don't know, but
I heard that today and I recorded that. I played on my baby account, and they probably don't know.
It's funny. I watched.
They were playing together against me with two Falcons. Then there was Leech and Ares, and afterwards there were 2 Ravanas. And at the end they were 3rd and 4th. I will release that. that wasn't so good for them to team up, to be honest.
Yeah,
but I really hate that. When I see that, for that I would suspend every single one of these players for at least 7 days. Okay, cool down to think about what they did, really, because for example in Call of Duty you have some suspension, 3-day suspension. Why? And you think about your mistake. You will not do it again.
Something like teaming up in a free-for-all, it's so difficult because, like, honestly, and I know we're kind of getting sidetracked here, but, like, I watched a video from Islander today where he had the same thing happen on his match, where people teamed up. But, I think there's just a big difference between, 2 people from maybe the same clan or their friends, going into free-for-all to intentionally, team up against other players and take advantage of it, compared to, say, 2 super strong gear that recognize that they're getting smashed, and the 2 of them kind of shake their heads in agreement that, hey, let's go ahead and focus on this guy because he's smashing everybody. I think there's a big difference between those 2 situations, which is why I would hate to see people start getting banned or in trouble for situations like that. Though I think
but again, it's sportsmanship. You don't go to against fun. It's
Right,
basically sportsmanship.
I'm trust me, I am on board with sportsmanship, but you know, it's also a legitimate tactic. If two weaker opponents are getting smashed by one guy, you know, why not work together to defeat him, and then the two of you fight it out, right? As long as you're not taking advantage of the situation. Or, you know, somebody in free-for-all decides to ditch his bot instead of give you the kill. You know, it's kind of crappy to do, but it's still a legitimate tactic, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's something like that, but I don't know. Everybody has his own version of that. To be honest.
Anyway, let's go ahead and try and get back onto to topic here. What else? Oh, okay. So I think we've pretty much covered most of what there is on the tournament. So we'll kind of shift gears here, and how about we talk about the latest operation.
Operations.
Right. So there's like I originally scheduled this to talk about, well, because we usually talk about the new operations on the show anyway, but I know there's kind of a difference of opinion in at least based on the the video that Islander put out compared to what I put out. You know, I know he and I had a kind of a big difference of opinion on this specific operation. I'm not sure where you stand on it, but I know there's a lot of people in the community that are kind of not happy with the current operation as well. Because there's no pilots in there, there's no paint jobs, no nice shiny, you know, robot that people really want that's meta or anything. What's your take on it?
To be honest, if you compare these operations to any of these previous ones, it's terrible. But the only positive thing for me will always be that you will never get that value for the money nowhere in the game like operations. So what can I do? It's like from terrible economy, you get a chance to get something, like I say, less terrible through operations. For me, I will buy it always because of the platinum and because of the value that, like I tell you, I get some power cells, I get some gold, I get 700 platinum from it. But comparing to the other operations, each operations are getting worse and worse. The only positive thing that they added to the platinum, but every single other aspect is getting worse and worse. I agree with you, but I agree also with Islander. It's hard to say that something is white or black. Truth is always gray, like these operations. It's always something in the middle.
Right. Well, I don't know, like my initial reaction when I first took a look at the operation was like pretty much the same. This sucks. I looked at it, I was like, okay, so no new pilot, no, you know, new robot or specialty weapon or anything. It's just, oh, and then the weapons that they did give, once again, were recently nerfed, which honestly, Pixonic, if you're listening, seriously, stop putting weapons and robots in the operation right after you nerf them. It just reminds people that they just got nerfed.
Notice something.
So
they make it shiny and new skins for it, but after the nerf.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, from a customer service standpoint, it's like, okay, you nerfed it, you already made your customers mad. Don't remind them, you know. But anyway, that aside, okay. After I started really looking through the operation, I was like, well, this is actually better because, one, I'm not getting a pilot for a robot that I don't use, right? It's just filling a whole, you know, level there where I could have gotten silver, gold, power cell, something. um, and it's got the same amount of platinum as all the other ones, which is good, which is a great deal as far as dollar for dollar. And there's no paint jobs for robots that I'm not gonna use.
That you will never use. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, once I stopped and thought about it, at least, and this is just my opinion, once I stopped and thought about it, I was like, wow, okay. So this one is definitely focused on resources, which honestly, I need resources more than I need, you know, a pilot I'm not going to use or a paint job that I'm not going to use. So I kind of turned my initial impression around, and I was like, okay, I actually like this. Another thing too is I noticed that on the official Facebook page, they called this pre-season to season 6. So that tells me that it was more of just kind of a filler to give us something to, you know, give us some resources or whatever, and of course for them to earn a little cash along the way. But until the next operation comes out, which I'm suspecting is going to have a limited edition robot, maybe some limited edition weapons. I don't know if it's going to be a longer operation again, a 40 level operation again. I don't know any of that, but you know, just the fact that they did call this a pre-season to the next operation season, it does tell me that, you know, something bigger at least is going to be in the next one.
Chief, you know what's their problem? The first operations when they just introduced it were amazing.
Oh, yeah, it was great, wasn't it? And it wasn't too hard to complete either. I mean, I think I did that first 100 levels in like 2 weeks.
Yes.
It was great.
That's why every operations we are looking after the initial one, it's terrible for us.
Yeah.
But I agree with all your viewers. I see many comments here. They're saying regarding them, they will buy operations. Okay, operations are good. Don't take me wrong. They are not terrible. They are good. They are good considering the other economy in the game. They are providing you the best value for your money, because these 700 platinum are in fact in regular price $100 in the game, and you are getting it for $15. And you are getting gold, you are getting power cells, you are getting silver, you are getting a lot of things.
Right. Let's see. Torcane was saying.
So
that,
it's good. It's okay for me. It's okay. I buy it every time. The best operations for me were the past one when they also had Clive, Pilot, and the Blitz.
Right. Let's see. Torcane was saying that, but the operation shouldn't be about resources. I would disagree with that, mainly because everything in the game is technically about resources. I mean, yeah, you can look at it as a weapon, or you could look at it as getting a robot, but really the whole game is based on how many resources you have. Because you can always build the weapon, you can always build the robot using your resources, but it's the resources that level up the stuff that you have. And somebody else was, I think Amphibious One was saying that you can sell the paint jobs and the pilots if you don't want them. Right, but you get next to nothing when you sell the paint jobs and the pilots. Neither one of them give you much for silver at all. And it is literally holding the whole level that they put it in operations that could have been filled with, you know, 6 million silver or, you know, 500 gold. I would much rather have 6 million silver or 5 million gold instead of a paint job that sells for 25,000 silver. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. But also one thing that it's not okay for me, at least, that Titans and Titan weapons, when you sell them, they give you silver. For me, if you spend gold, for example, buying storms, and when you sell them for the silver, you should sell them for the gold that you buy them for the gold. And the same thing should be for the Titans. If you buy them for the platinum, you upgrade it for the platinum, you should get platinum for it when you sell it.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but in order for them to really be able to do that, they would have to then changed the whole workshop, because you can build storms in the workshop. You don't have to buy them for gold. You can also build them for silver.
No,
You know,
no.
you
Stones
can't.
are only available. No. Stones.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
can
stones, for example,
that's right.
are
You can only win.
available to get for the gold. Yeah.
Right. You can only win them or buy them with gold. Okay, you're right on that.
I have never seen somebody winning them in these crates. It's like they are only to look nice.
Well,
You can never get it.
you might not actually win it, but I mean they are available to be won. I mean,
No, they are, but chances are something like 0.2%.
right, right. But I get what you're saying. I mean, personally though, I mean, while I agree that Titan stuff, since you can only buy it with platinum, when you sell it, you should get platinum, even if it's less. Of course they're gonna,
Yeah, let it make at least
take some.
You should, yeah.
But the problem that I have really is the valuation they put on them. Like, say you won a second or third Nodens, that obviously you don't need 3 Nodens, right? You go to sell a Nodens,
yes,
you actually get less for selling the whole Titan than you do for selling one Titan weapon. And both of them are pitifully low amounts of silver. I'm talking like 3.5-4 million silver for selling a full Titan. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's less than you get for selling a robot. So that definitely needs to get fixed.
Let's say, for example, if you buy some weapon, for example, for your Titan, 4,000 platinum, and you spend then against 1,000 platinum to upgrade it. It means you spent 2,000 platinum. Okay, but if you want to sell it, you will get 2 million silver. It's ridiculous. Why
Right.
don't they do it? If you sell it, you will get something like at least 20% of the platinum that you spent totally. You will get it back, and everybody would be happy with that.
Yeah, I think Titans, as long as they limit them to platinum only, I think I agree with you. They need to give you platinum back in return if you do sell them.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, somebody was saying that Eric said he's made 15 million selling Virginia Walkers. I believe that 100%, because I have gotten so many Virginia Walker pilots in events that, like, literally, it's just disgusting how frequent. And what's even worse is I've actually had people reach out to me and say, hey man, I've been trying to get a Virginia Walker, and I'm sitting here screaming up and down, Pixonic, take them out of the events, because I've gotten like 20 of them. I mean, enough already. But some people, I guess, are still after them and haven't been able to get them. But I know many people that have gotten more than they wanted for Virginia Walker.
I agree.
Turbo Knight says he can't wait for titanium currency. Be careful what you ask for. All right, so let's go ahead and shift over once more.
There is many things that they can do to improve this. This is in fact their product. They are living off it. So they maybe need to start paying attention to this community and start paying attention to ideas of this community. Because a lot of our guys, a lot of us who play this game are involved in this game, and in that way that we like friends that we made here. We are playing it because of these guys, to be with these friends. We have this interesting hobby, and this game is really amazing for making social connections with the people from around the world. I met so many people from USA, from Canada, from, I don't know, so many countries. And they also need to pay attention to this community, because this community have also a lot of people who are business people, who are smart people, who are educated people, and they are giving them some ideas just to help them out, not to make anything bad, to help them out about this product of theirs, to improve it, to advertise it. It's really, this community has really good ideas about this game, and if they listen to it even for a minute, they would make this game really great.
Right, I do agree with you. I think that especially at this point in the life cycle of this game, that they would probably benefit greatly by maybe bending their ear a little bit more to the community. I mean, obviously, it's a mobile game. People are expected to start playing, and then people are going to leave the game frequently. That's just how it is on mobile platforms, especially with a technically free-to-play game. There's no investment. However, it's a unique free-to-play mobile game because it has literally been around for over 6 years. There's not too many out there that have, and it's still going pretty darn strong. But I think if they want the longevity to continue, I agree, they absolutely need to start kind of listening a little more to the community. There's got to be a compromise somewhere between the business aspect and what the community desires, because ultimately it's the community that pays the bills. So
yeah,
anyway.
Precisely like that. We are there. We are not community. We are their customer. It doesn't matter. Do you buy only premium? Do you buy some $1 nails? We are all contributing to their business. We are providing them money for the service that we get from them, because when we buy gold in game, it's virtual currency. It's in fact their service that they are providing to us.
Right. Anyway, so talking about the community and listening to the community, that does kind of lead me into the segue for our final topic, and that is the weapons rebalance on the test server. The Quarker, Atomizer, and Nucleon all being affected with this rebalance. And the reason why I say that as a segue is because Pixonic specifically reached out to some people in the community, including some YouTubers, and asked specifically about these 3 weapons and said, why are people not using them? And you can see that they listen loud and clear. While the Atomizer, and this is my take personally, before we get into the actual changes that they're proposing on the test server, this current state of the Quarker, Atomizer, and Nucleon, I think the Atomizer is the strongest of the 3. I think it's a fairly well balanced weapon, though dealing with the actual overheating mechanic is a bit annoying because it does overheat so quickly. The Quarker and the Nucleon both have the same issue with the overheating mechanic, overheating so quickly, and the spread is like just horrendous to where like literally you just aren't hitting anything. But they're both really underpowered when you kind of compare them to the strength of the Atomizer. And to be honest, I was surprised at the numbers of the test server changes. They're bumping the Quarker up by 15% damage. Atomizer is gaining only 2% damage, and the Nucleon is gaining 16% damage, which honestly, I think that might be enough to get folks to start using them. But especially what I'm interested in is the overheating mechanic, which unfortunately I cannot show you all in the chat with the picture. But from the test server, it takes about 3 times as long for the weapons to actually overheat, and then when they do overheat, the the bullet spread is not nearly as dramatic. So they are much more accurate, and they take longer to overheat, which I think is great, um, and is going to help them out tremendously. Might actually make them a little too strong. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell on a test server that's level 8. But honestly, I think, at least based on how I viewed these weapons, looking at what they did on the test server, I think they were spot on. But that's just my opinion. What do you think?
To be honest, Chief, in here I see some pattern regarding these weapons, because Quaker and Nucleon, by seeing what I saw about other videos, I haven't had time to test it, to be honest. But I think that they are preparing this weapon for the Hawk robot. I think that you have the same opinion like I do, because these numbers are, to be honest, are significant. 15 and 16% more damage, and you were hitting mechanical changes. I think they are preparing this weapon to be new meta on Hawk robot.
Well, I think they were hoping that these would be in the meta already, which I think they were a bit confused, which is why they were kind of reaching out and asking the questions as to why they weren't. I think the Atomizer is definitely more common, or the most common out of the 3 weapons, but it's also been out the longest too. So there is that.
Yeah, that's
you
the
need
issue.
to remember
That's the
too.
issue. Try Quaker on Blitz. I don't know, have you tried on your BattleRec account?
Oh, I have. It's actually it's decent, but come on. I mean, you put 4 of any weapon at MK2 level 12, and it's going to be decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's.
But imagine 15% more damage and new overheating mechanics. It will be amazing.
Well, I agree. I think these changes will definitely help, possibly, and I think I said this at the start of the show. We might possibly see a slight meta shift with these changes, because, I mean, yes, the atomizers kind of have worked their way a little into the meta if you've got them maxed out, and in some situations, but nobody right now is really willing to touch a Nucleon or a Quarker. And I mean, a Quarker, even though it's decent at, MK2 level 12, there's just better options. So that's kind of an issue. And I was watching somebody's video today. I honestly, I can't remember who it was. Oh, I know who it was. Who was it? Wait a second. No, I don't. Anyway, I might know who it was. I'll have to check something. I think I know who it was. And I know this is a little sidetracking, but just hang with me for a moment. Hang with me just a moment. Because I want to make sure.
Also, one more thing while you are searching for it.
Yeah.
The only issue that I have with these weapons, it's really good weapons, and it will be good with these changes. I think they will be a new meta for sure. Even if not the top meta, they will be in that group of meta weapons. But the only issue with all these weapons that I have, it's that limitless ammo. Because if you are head-to-head with somebody, for example, you have Cryos, he's got Atomizers, Quakers, Nucleons, he'll kill you because you have a reload time, and he doesn't have a reload time. He has limitless ammo, and when he's face-to-face to you, he cannot miss. That's my only issue with these weapons, to be honest.
Right, but I think an argument could also be made if you're going MK2 level 12 against MK2 level 12. You got somebody with Quarkers and somebody with Rhymes, for example, right? I think the burst damage is likely much higher, so you are more likely to get a kill faster using the Rhymes. But if you can survive long enough when getting hit by the rhymes, then yes, the Quarkers will definitely end up winning. But I don't think it's a guaranteed win, just because you're looking at a weapon that does take a little longer to kill somebody compared to something like the 4 rhymes or 4 or not 4 glaciers, a couple of glaciers, or a leech with 4 cryos, right?
Yeah.
So I do think this could be a little OP with what they're proposing, but I think that ultimately that's what it's going to take to kind of get people to start leveling them up and putting them in their hangar. Because let's face it, that's what the meta is the most OP stuff. And if it's not OP, then people aren't going to use it, because there is OP
but
stuff.
Also, bro, we cannot judge on these weapons because they are still not in the workshop. You can see some weapon real impact onto the live server when it hits workshop, or even when it is offered to buy it, because now you cannot even buy it, you need to get it through the event rates. That's the issue with this.
Right.
So they cannot expect more people getting it, because people are already getting it really hard, because they are getting all the time, they are getting components, these event chests, and they are not getting the full weapons, so they need to spend a lot of money to get those weapons. So it's normal that there isn't a lot of these on the live stream.
Right, but I imagine the data that they're looking at, and this is data that only they would have, is based on comparing it to previous weapon releases, which all follow this same progression of first they release this stuff to events, make it difficult to obtain, you have to pay for it, and eventually it'll find its way into sales. They'll offer to sell it straight up for cash, and then they'll put it in eventually the gold chest or the super chest, and then after a while it will find its way to the workshop.
Yeah, but that period before was a lot shorter than now. For example, they introduced it on some event which was lasting, for example, something like 15-20 days, and then afterwards you could get it through super chest and through the offers for the cash. But now they are really prolonging that period. Now you have 2 or 3 events, and which is something like 2 months in the event for these weapons, and then after that they will be introduced into some other means to get it. So it's that's why they cannot get the same impact on the live server like before, when they were doing it a lot faster.
Right. I think atomizers though have been in events for the last 3, maybe 4 events. And those events have been like upwards of a month long or more. So yeah, they need to. I don't know.
It's too long.
Yeah, they told us all a long time ago that 2 months after release, they would go into the workshop, and yeah, they're nowhere near that. But anyway, I was trying to remember. I think it was Pappy. God, what? I can't remember his name. Sir Pappy, Uncle Pappy, something. I don't know. Some YouTuber that he was pointing out that, and this was a good point that he made, which was, I was trying to look through my history here to see if I could. I want to credit him properly, but anyway.
Yes.
Pixonic nerfed the crap out of all of the shotguns because they were the premier brawling weapon, right? In preparation for these to be released, which they were expecting these to become the premier brawling weapons. But nobody has really caught on, except for some with the atomizers. Old Pappy, that's it. Thanks, guys. But anyway, so that was a good point that he brought up, that, you know, they did. And it's probably not the only reason why they nerfed the shotguns, but they did nerf the shotguns in advance of releasing these, and these are really the only successive weapon that we have for brawling now. To replace those shotguns for extended fire, anyway, for continuous fire. Obviously, we have the cryo weapons for your burst damage weapons, but anyway, that was a fair point, and I think that is why they were looking to make these adjustments now. It's because they did not see people adapt to these when they were winning them, because they know who has won these and how many people have won them, and then they also know who has leveled them up and how many are leveling them up. And I can tell you that data probably doesn't look too promising for them, which is why they ended up going back to do this this adjustment. But anyway, what do you guys think in the chat? Are you guys excited to see these adjustments, or is this something you do not want to see? Joseph Cook says that he thinks igniters are the new brawling meta. I don't see them getting nerfed. Igniters, I think igniters are pretty strong, but there's
igniters are great weapons still, and that was I was also thinking cryos and igniters. I even made a video, and there was when they were speaking about shotgun nerf, that is the next meta, and in fact it is next meta now. These storms are live only because of Ravana ability. They didn't count on that because during the ability you are reloading it, so you are giving yourself time to reload your weapons, and then in a short period of time you deal tremendous damage. So these storms, to be honest, are better now on Ravana than they were.
Yeah, I think storms are, in my opinion, the best build for Ravanas, which is sad because they were heavily nerfed. And there are good weapons out there like the igniters, which I've liked the igniters since they came out. Most people just didn't use them because they didn't need to, because everybody was running shotguns. But they haven't really boosted the igniters at all. I mean, they're just good weapons, but they do have some faults, so you can't use them in all situations. They're strong, but they're not the best.
They are not good against fast robots, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's the issue with them.
That you have to lead your target with them, just like you do with the rockets. And it's difficult, like you said, to hit anything that's strong or fast. But they are good against slow targets like Arthur's, especially because they do have a little area damage that they do splash damage.
Yeah.
Let's see. A couple people talking about the Hawk. Let's see, what did Kill You was saying? He's got 4 atomizers he runs on a leech. It's a really strong build.
To be honest, that Hawk will have a huge impact on our Mings and Nuden. Huge impact.
Well, we'll see what happens with the final numbers. So I think, I haven't been overly impressed with the Hawk going against Titans, as it's much stronger going against robots.
Yeah, but Chief, think about this. It's only level 8.
Well, I know it's only level 8, which is feedback that I've given them, that it's technically impossible for us to actually test it on their test server, because the brand new ability that they came up with for this specific robot requires us to test it with varying levels of weapons, but we can't.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, it could end up coming to the live server, since we couldn't test that actual function, and it might not actually work. I mean, at all. Like, actually be broken, as in it just does not work.
I agree, but my feeling regarding this bot that it will be met. I don't know.
I think it's going to be strong. It's definitely going to be stronger than the Scorpion. I just don't know how strong it's going to be against Titans like they're wanting it to be. And I'm afraid that they're going to have to boost it so strong to actually make a dent against Titans that it's going to absolutely decimate every regular robot in the game and make every robot in the game worthless. So I do like the idea of it, but I think they need to go back to the drawing board on it and maybe make it to where it's stats for, you know.
But Chief, they can really simply do that. They can, for example, implement into that ability defense mitigation, but only for Titans resistance.
Right, and that's what I would recommend. It only applies towards Titans. However, I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder. So while it's easy to do that, just as I would think it's real easy for them to fix the targeting system, there must be something really complex about it because they haven't fixed the targeting system. So I can only imagine it's going to be pretty complex for them to make it to where it only applies those statistics towards a Titan. So, you know, from a layman's standpoint, I think that would be outstanding if they could do that. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, but you know, Chief, they really need feedback from YouTubers, from guys who are in touch with the community and everything, to tell them that, like, I know that you and Islander and the others are doing, but they need that because, to be honest, how many of them is really in fact playing this game on these levels and much like we play.
Yeah, I know a lot of the developers probably don't actually play the game, and if they do, it's very limited. So, you know, and I'm with you. They need the feedback, but having talked to them, and I do give that feedback to them. I already do. I know that they need to see more feedback. So they need the average players, the folks that are just watching YouTube, the folks that are just playing the game, they need to get the feedback from them, because if they don't have the data, the massive feedback going in their direction, they are not going to react. So, but anyway, let's see, real quick.
Yeah. So many things regarding that feedback, bro, because in different leagues, different robots are problems, different weapons are problems, so there can be some universal solution. We are looking at it from the point of Champions League, from the top tier games, but for example, for some guys in lower leagues, it's not a problem of Ravanas, they are still facing leeches and stuff like that. It all depends on which level of this game you're playing at.
Yeah, so trying to go through here, a couple of comments. Looks like a few people are actually looking forward to these changes. So it sounds like the community might be interested in actually getting these boosts to the or these changes, proposed changes to the energy machine guns. Personally, I'm looking forward to it, even though I know it's just going to be one more thing that I'm going to have to level up, which is going to suck. But I think overall, it might give a better option for some players. Now, I'll go ahead and open it up now because we are kind of looking to run out of some time here, and I don't want to keep the show going too late because I know Zox is in a part of the world that it's very late. So, um,
in here, it's 2:25 a.m.
yeah. So we'll look at wrapping it up here. And as always, I want to give you guys at least a chance to ask any questions that you might have. Let me go over a couple that I did see already, though. Saw a few of you asking about the proposed visual change to the stealth. What I thought of it, I think it's kind of pointless. It's just, I mean, I don't know why you need some kind of a glowy ball around you to show that you're in stealth. I think the icon above the head was plenty. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure why they're complicating
why change something which is already good?
I mean, that might have something to do with long-term plans. Usually changes like that do. They'll make a change and we're sitting there scratching our head saying, I don't understand why that needs to be done. But then, 6 months from now, they come out with some other change and we're like, oh, okay, that's why they did it.
Yeah, when we see some other type of stuff in future, probably.
Makes fan was saying he's diversifying his hangar and not making the same mistake he made with shotguns. Don't blame you. You definitely should try and take lessons learned anytime there's a big nerf like that. And another person was talking about asking them to just reinstate the shotguns to how they were before. I think they said something about now it's just a bunch of storms or obviously storms are shotguns, but igniters and calamities and so on. So, I mean, I really liked the shotguns how they were, but I mean, at least for me, on the bots that I want to run shotguns on, I can still make them work. I mean, I can still get godlikes with no problem running, Gust and Storm on a Phantom. They're still really good on a Ravana. They're still really strong on a Leech. So
Storms are, but Gusts, to be honest, after the nerf, I don't like them that much.
Right, and but the point was that running strictly shotguns on a robot, you can still make it work depending on the robot. It's just not quite as easy as it used to be. But when you look at the cost of something like Gust and Storm to max out, it is way cheaper than most of the newer stuff.
Yes, I agree, Chief. And I'm not strongly against these buffs of these weapons, to be honest. But I've seen them already doing pretty fine, to be honest. Only not the heavy version. Heavy version is not doing fine.
The Nucleon.
But Quarkers and Atomizers are not bad, really. They are not bad.
Well, I think the reason why the Nucleon seems to suck so bad is because unless you're running a Fury or a Behemoth, then you're kind of limited to no more than 2 Nucleons. But when you look at some of the bots that you can put like an Atomizer or Quarkers on, you can load up to 4, and that's really where they're strong. Putting 2 or 3 on a robot really isn't too strong. So
yeah. Put any 4 of the weapons which are maxed on any bot and they will work well.
Yep. But yeah, any last minute questions or comments that the viewers might have, feel free to jump in there. And kind of going and continuing on from last week where I kind of had like a featured small YouTube channel that I wanted to send you all to check out. Today's is actually going to be Got Your Beacons. You can find a link to his channel in the video description and in the pinned comment. And he is a little high energy, but the reason I picked him for this week's is he is a smaller YouTuber. He's put out videos consistently for a long time. He's really good for the community. He kind of focuses his channel more for the low to mid-range players, mid-level players, really. But he does a lot of work in, and nothing wrong with sending some folks his way. You've never heard of him, and who knows, you might actually like his style. He is very high energy. But definitely stop by and check his out, like I said. If you like the content, as always, drop him a sub while you are there. Same thing with Zox here. You guys have been listening to him now for over an hour. Great guy, very knowledgeable with War Robots. Link to his channel also in the video description and in the pinned comment, so be sure that you stop by and subscribe over there as well. I know he does frequent live streams, so he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on.
I started live streaming from my baby account, to be honest, because the other one, it's not that interesting to play.
Yeah, but realistically, your baby account is better than most people's main accounts. So
yeah, that is true. That is.
But it's fun either way.
But it's interesting to have. It's interesting to have again some challenging. That's interesting.
Joseph Cook was asking, why was the Corona hit so much harder from the nerf than the Storm? I think the reason for that is because it was so much stronger than the Storm before the nerf.
Yeah.
I mean, if you recall, looking back prior to the nerf, the Corona did more damage and had lockdown than the Storms did. And now you've got the Storms that do more damage than the Corona, but to even that out, the Corona also has the lockdown. So I think they kind of put it to where it should have been from the start. I mean, not necessarily as weak, but as far as comparing it to the Storm, I think the Storm should have always done more damage than the Corona.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're totally on spot. Because Storms were meant as a regular shotguns, and if you have a regular shotgun plus lockdown effect, it should have less damage.
A few people asking about the ice weapons being nerfed. You know, I've heard some rumors about that because somebody saw something on the test server, and you know, anything you see on the test server, if they are not specifically telling you to test that item or telling you that they are changing it, you can pretty much just ignore it, because honestly, most of the stuff on test server is just not correct, with the exception of the stuff they're wanting you to test. So yes, I do know that the base damage for some of the cryo weapons are lower on the test server, and then there's also some weapons out there that are showing higher damage output, like the I think it's the damn, what's the help me out here, the medium weapon that you shoot and it bounces around. Damn.
Medium weapon Atomizer, or what?
No. The old weapon. It used to be a pain with the Spectre.
Terrans.
No. Before the Terrans. No, before then.
Orkans.
No.
Orkans.
It was the energy weapon that you would shoot it and it would bounce and hit all of the team members. Do you remember that?
Shock trains.
Yeah, shock trains. There we go. Shock trains. Thank you. Man, sometimes brain damage just gets the better of me. Yes, shock trains. Some people were saying the shock train is showing higher damage on the test server. Take it with a grain of salt. They're not asking us to test the shock trains. They're not asking us to test the cryo weapons. You know, for the longest time, using a Fenrir on the test server, he would basically jog everywhere because he was super quick. but he's not like that on the live server. They were never planning on making him like that. It's a test server. There's a lot of broken stuff over there. So
yeah, a lot of good.
But anyway, I think that is probably going to wrap it up. Seriously, Zox, thank you again for stepping in, and I appreciate you sharing your experience as far as and your knowledge with the upcoming Android tournament. Appreciate you putting the work in to make that happen for everybody that is participating. And appreciate you sharing your thoughts and insight here for the rest of the stream once again. As always, you're more than welcome to come back anytime. I know it's crazy late for you, but you're always welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me, bro. It's always a pleasure to be on your podcast because they are really educational and they are really helping to this community. And I think that this voice is heard from your podcast, as I saw that I'm sure that Big Sonic also is watching this. And thank you very much for organizing this. And I would also like to say just one word about the guys who are organizing this Hangar X tournament, that they are really amazing. They did an amazing job. My job there was to help them, and they did all the heavy lifting and some amazing artworks by Rawan. These guys are really amazing who organized this tournament with us.
Cool. Big shout out to the whole crew over there putting the faction wars together. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah. So that's going to do it, everybody. Thanks all for viewing. Make sure that you drop by over there to Gotcha Beacon's channel. Give him a shout out. Let him know that Chief, Zox, and Islander sent you his way. And don't forget to show your love to Zox's channel as well.